it meant anything goes. Anyone could die, anyone could fall in love, anyone could die, anyone could fall in love, anyone could die, anyone could die.
Asian Apocalypse.
Concept was so cool.
Asian Apocalypse.
Concept was so cool.
People couldn't believe it. They had to believe it. People couldn't believe it. They had to believe it.
Everything that you hit on the known level. Out the window. Everything that you hit on the known level. Out the window. Everything that you hit on the known level. Out the window.
I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, and we are here to finish the fight. I don't know why saying finish the fight cracks me up so much, Gary. I just really like saying finish the fight.
Finish the fight.
Finish the fight!
The fight will be over, and then we'll go grab food.
But first we have to trudge through a bunch of shit, and then we're going to get to the good shit.
Yeah, the way that we structured this ended on a real whimper.
Yeah, it totally did.
And we could have began with the whimper. We could have began with Chronicles since it's chronologically, but that wouldn't have been encouraging.
I would have quit the podcast. I mean, like, this is a bad idea. Let's go back to X-Men Evolution.
we would have both quit and started Wildcats podcasts.
Hell yeah.
Hey guys, you down with Grifter?
Into Grifter.
Yeah, hell yeah, Grifter. No, because we're covering this session, this chunk, X Universe. Not super good. X-Men Chronicles 1 and 2. Not super good.
No.
And then X-Men Omega, which is the finale, and that's fun, even though it tries to do a lot.
Yeah. I actually really, really appreciated the finale, which we'll talk about at length, I think. But X Universe is, again, this is the second issue of this little series. It's like just a kind of a normal check-in, and they're really trying to get me to care about Daredevil in this universe for some reason. And guess what, Gary? I don't.
I like the cover where Ben Grimm is doing the like sideways pistol grip, but upside down, like he's offering me a gun.
Yeah.
Like, would you like this gun?
Hey, here's a gun.
Here's a gun.
Thank you, Ben
More
Grimm.
people need to hold guns palm up when they shoot. It's so weird. Yeah, this is a dumbass comic. I don't like it.
No.
And so this is, to catch everybody up, this is what happened. Everybody who was a superhero in the MCU instead became a member of the Human High Council in Europe, and they don't have powers, but they still fight Mikhail, the Horseman, who is Colossus's brother, who suicided.
Yes,
in real life.
And it's just kind of a check-in on like, hey, what would have happened? Well, they're all pretty much the exact same, except Thor is like a dude and hanging out with Gwen Stacy for some reason. Like that's it. That's all that happened.
Yeah, Thor would have, Thor was Gwen Stacy's safety school.
Yes.
If it wasn't Peter Parker, she was going to date Thor.
I was either going to go to Brown or I was going to marry Thor. It's going to be one of the two.
They're going to go to Midgar U or. So it starts off with somebody who is not Tony Stark, talking to somebody who is not, what's her name? Celia Reyes. Like these look like, Marvel characters.
Yes.
Saying goodbye as they get onto the Ark, Mikhail's like fourth horseman Ark. To remind everybody, he popped up in Europe and has been using Empath as kind of a slave to make everybody like him.
Yes.
Using his emotion powers.
And they have a baby, this not Tony Stark couple. And Rafe, who is the guy, is going to be taking care of the baby. We're going to kind of follow this baby's journey because it's going to go on a wild adventure, and only to find out, like, at the end, that it has a totally normal name.
It's a real load-bearing baby,
dude. It's kind of nuts that they were like leaning on this so hard, man. And I just again, once again, kind of don't care about it. Like it's wild how much shit happens in this comic book that I don't care about.
This is very hard to get invested in.
And the big thing here is that
the ship here.
Yeah, Mikhail is basically getting these people to volunteer for a augmentation program to make humans more than mutants, or put humans on the same scale as mutants. The problem is with this whole plan, as we'll find out pretty quick, it has a pretty drastic death rate. It's like 1 in every 99,000 people are able to get powers.
Yeah, it's real dumb. It's also, I felt like I missed an issue of this because the last issue ended with them like getting on the ship and confronting Mikhail. Mikhail's like, it's true, I am evil. And that's it. And then all of a sudden now there's this power thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember seeing this in the first issue, and that could be a failure on my part. Like, it's boring, so I might have forgotten.
I read it today, and not the first issue. I read the second issue today, and I don't remember any of that shit, dude. Like,
yeah.
But it could be also like sometimes Marvel, just for whatever reason, doesn't have issues of comic books. Like maybe there is something in between this that I didn't know. But I didn't have
1.5.
I also didn't have like one marked down for this either. So I don't. Yeah.
No.
I have no
it
idea.
just feels like they skip something. It just feels like bad Scott Lobdillism.
Yeah.
To me. We start out with Tony Stark. Everyone's hanging upside down in cocoons, waiting to get experimented on. In this thing, we start out with Tony Stark getting his. They say it's augmentation implants or organ harvesting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. And then swap over to weird Daredevil poking Empath in the face with a stick.
Yeah,
and Empath having a real hard time about it.
Yeah, they got this dude like techno crucified up, which is always a bummer. But yeah, they basically are like, hey, don't let this dude die. He's controlling everything for me. Mikhail is. And outside, like, we see that, like, all of the humans are still shouting about Mikhail and Unity, except for some other Marvel people we have to check in on.
Yep.
Bolivar and Moira Trask. Hey, what have you guys been doing? What's up? What's happening with you?
They've been hanging out. You may remember us from 3 pages of the Weapon X comic when we showed up.
They've been hanging out with
Thunderbolt Ross. Yep. Everybody, and these guys are immune, and I don't know why.
What if Marvel Comics was bad?
Yeah. What if you just took a bunch of names and just had them all hang out? Dude, I guess like there's always the question of what's happening in them, and like in the rest of the universe as the X-Men are doing stuff. Like, why aren't the Avengers there? But also like sometimes maybe you don't need to answer those questions. Maybe we don't need to have the what ifs, right? Yeah, this could have been good. Like, I think there's a way that you could have done a good story with this. I wouldn't have just had everybody hang out together as if like fate conspired, but like knowing what happened to any individual character. Like, I think the way that Marvel would have done this now would have been to do it as a line-wide crossover and then just have everyone's, comics continue, or have one-off, which is like Captain America Age of Apocalypse, and you just follow like one story from that character.
Yeah, and let a writer like get weird with it, and like as long as you don't touch on these things, like you can do whatever you want to with Captain America, right? Like
yeah. Like, what would this person do when confronted with this huge evil, this like fascist takeover? That, I think you could do something cool with that. This just is not it. This is also not the first issue that I got sick of this, but in reading these comics, and then I was also just reading some old comics for funzos. Boy, is it a problem that in Marvel Comics, every time somebody appears, you get the same kind of narration bubbles explaining who they are and what their powers are. It's really annoying. Like, just, the fourth prelate, Mikhail Rasputin, the final horseman of Apocalypse, a mutant of far greater power than most, enjoying the power to command power. And all these things. And every time they pop up, it does this as if, like, there's that old Stan Lee adage, like, every comic might be somebody's first.
Yes.
And it feels like Marvel never really shook that off. And I don't want to just signal out Marvel, like DC does this shit too, but just the idea that, like, even when we read X-Men Omega, it's just kind of like Apocalypse's land, a war-torn scar upon the earth. These are the heroes who, and it's like, man, you don't have to do the intro every single time.
We get it.
It's like binging a show on Netflix, and like just never skipping the credits.
Yeah,
is what it feels like.
I'm pretty heavily into the Wheel of Time right now because, hey, Apocalypse World, reading a 14-book fantasy series. But and fantasy is long. Like, if you read Game of Thrones, like every time you meet Jon Snow, you get a brief little like 5-page summary of what Jon Snow has been doing for the last 4 or 5 books
in a new book.
Book,
every chapter.
Yeah, though. But not every chapter. But boy, like it's that same vibe. And as these books, especially like you get into book 11, which Martin's never gonna do. Like there's so many characters and there's so much that's been happening that like you have to introduce a character and then like, oh, there's her husband and her husband is the king of blah 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 blah. And I find myself like breezing through them now because Amazon, the Kindle app tells me it's a 652 page book. The glossary is like 100 pages, and then like there's always like a preview of the next book for whatever reason. And I'm skimming past all the history because I'm reading it so fast. So I'm pretty through like a 700 page book in like a day and a half, 2 days, sometimes in some cases. And I'm just like, can we speed this the fuck up? But yeah, like I totally get you. Like hearing that stuff, and you kind of have to do it. Like I guess because what if X Universe #2 was someone's first comic book? But also like,
heaven forbid,
do we have to do that? Like if that person like reads this and is like, I don't like comics, like if they don't have enough friends to tell them that they made the wrong choice, then I don't know what I mean. It's not necessarily on the comic book industry for that.
Yeah, it's not Joe Quesada's fault. It's also funny too because it's such an intentional thing. But I realized that I got to the end of the Age of Apocalypse crossover like this week with the recording. I have no idea what Holocaust powers are.
No,
like, do you?
No, not at all.
Like
never understood
a comic
it.
that is constantly telling you who people are and what their power is. I don't know what I have no idea what a Holocaust deal is at all. Like in one of the X-Men Chronicles, they show him as a human before he becomes, and then he turns into the skeleton monster off panel, and they don't explain that. And they don't explain like what he even can do. Like he's Apocalypse's son. What does that mean? Did like Apocalypse jizz him into a womb?
I gotta know. Is the jism blue? I gotta know. I have to. These are the important questions, Stan Lee.
Man, I
need a narration bubble about Apocalypse's jism.
I'm sure I told you that I grew up with a dude who thought that black people had black cum, right?
No, I did not know that fact about you. Wow.
This guy. Yep. It was like a childhood friend. Like
I thought you were my age. I didn't know you grew up with H.P. Lovecraft. What the fuck, Gary? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was wild. And to be clear, I didn't think that, and my other friend who was friends with that guy didn't think that. So he got to have the moment where he dropped it in conversation, like everybody knew it, and we got to go. Wait, hold up.
Wait a minute.
What?
At any point did you and your friend think to yourselves like, wait a minute, I actually haven't seen a black person come? Maybe? No, surely not.
No, because we had both seen. This was early internet days. Like we weren't like 7. We were like 14 or 13.
Oh my God.
We
okay.
I know, right? That's why it's super fucked up that this guy thought this. Like he had taken sex ed classes. But we had gone on to, BBSs and downloaded JPEGs that some of which featured black men ejaculating. So we knew.
Some of which were like Patricia Arquette photoshopped on a naked body.
Yeah. You know what's up.
Line by line on my 14.4 modem. I'm going to save this to a floppy drive so my mom doesn't find it.
I'm going to put that disc under my bed. She's just going to think I'm playing Legend of the Red Dragon or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but he definitely thought that. So that's what the Apocalypse coming blue raspberry
Jesus
made me
Christ.
think of.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, following that logic, like, I think we talked about the Hulk, but like, definitely green there, right? Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, green and strong. Like you could see them.
Oh,
like they would be bulky enough.
see them with the naked eye. Like it would be a writhing pile of goo, is what you're saying right now.
Yeah. Like if you looked close enough, you'd see faces on them. Like it would be like they're huge.
Dude, I mean, like the first person, right?
Like a silverfish.
Like somebody, and I'm trying to figure out like who would be the first person to sleep with the Hulk in the Hulk form, and then to like start spreading the word among the Avengers of like, hey, just look.
Yeah, like just dude. The curtain matches the drapes, matches the milk. Like,
oh God,
yeah.
no.
And it's interesting because like it couldn't be She-Hulk because they're cousins.
Well, I mean,
it'd be like Harpy, like when Betty Ross turned into a Hulk.
Okay, sure,
creature, but she was a monster during that point. Or maybe
or maybe like Ogress gets real drunk one night. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
Ogress had to get drunk, not Hulk. Hulk's down.
Hulk is like, look, please let me put this enormous cock in something, anything. I beg you.
For the love of God.
God, would it be humongously humongously funny if just the super monstrous being that is the Hulk had a little teeny weenie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the I can't. There's no way I can find it right now. But lost to Twitter. Somebody posted a post that was on a bodybuilding forum on Facebook about how no, bodybuilders do not have small dicks. They have really big legs. If you have normal size legs, it makes your dick look normal size.
Sure,
but if your legs
bro.
get bigger, your dick looks smaller. And he drew like a illustration to illustrate it.
Good.
That is like so funny. Like it looked like a little kid drawing of like a penis. Like the penis and ball is just like a weird W. You know, like a W with a really low dip in the middle.
Excellent.
Kind of
Excellent.
It is a very funny post. Tons of emojis and stuff.
That's why I skip
Like
leg
angry
day.
faces. Yeah.
Not every, I mean, I skip everything day, but I also definitely skip leg day for this reason.
Yeah, don't skip dick day. You skip leg day.
Oh, no. Dick day's every day. Look, man, it's apocalypse times.
It's you gotta tie a little weight to it and then just flex. Kegel it up.
This comic book that we have not been talking about for a long time, a bunch of people are sneaking onto this thing to blow it up, to get Mikhail to not be cool anymore with everybody. And they do that, like they succeed. And there's a lot of like pointless dialogue about people being able to do stuff that other people can't. And, you know, Gwen Stacy has to do something, but she really wants to go to be with Dr. Blake or whatever. And like none of it really fucking matters and nobody cares.
You cannot do love stories
in one issue
in like two issues. Like we cannot take two characters who, as far as I know, maybe never met, you know, in the 616, and then make them, you know, make the drama hang on their love story. Once they escape from the holding pens or whatever because of the explosion, they go and find Tony Stark. He's passed out, and they put adrenaline into his heart. His little heart machine had broken, and Dr. Blake revives him by sticking a needle into his heart.
Yeah.
Looks like that's scary.
Pulp Fiction style, baby.
Pulp Fiction style. Yep. And then they go and grab some tech. There's an armory on board so they can fight back, and they all dress up like StarCraft Space Marines.
Yep. And it's
to fight back.
Just as exciting as you might think it is.
Yeah, those indoor StarCraft missions that everybody likes.
Oh God, I had forgotten about those. I haven't played a StarCraft game in probably since the 90s.
There's those shitty dungeon crawls.
Jesus Christ.
They also get motorcycles. They get cool hover bikes.
Yeah.
During this as well.
Again,
Starter Rebellion.
It's a video game, like right? Like they're just stocking up basically.
Yeah, they've armored up the speeder bike tower. All the people have now started to rebel or whatever. As this thing, they go in and they try to get into the central core or whatever of the ship, and here's Hulk, and he's got Gwen Stacy holding her hostage. Cut over to Donald Blake, who is having his like meeting of the minds philosophically with Mikhail, who is meeting with some of the other human counselors. He hasn't been on board of the ship.
Yeah.
At this point, he's been talking to Thunderbolt and shit.
And Blake is there to be like, hey, like I use fancy language. Wouldst Europe bow gracefully to its faith? Or no, wait, that's Mikhail. Later on, later on, Blake gets all into his fancy language. But Blake points out that his thing exploded. His little arc has exploded. The people have spoken, and Mikhail, who has kind of already said like, I'm only doing this because I'm bored. Like I'm not actually like super into any of these humans. Are like, okay,
yeah, I don't want to be here either.
Yeah, Mikhail, if you can put me in the mainline Age of Apocalypse, like I would fit in real well with like maybe X Factor. I don't know.
Yeah, can I please fight Scott Summers? Like he just looks directly at the camera and is like, listen, neither of us like this.
He does the Jim Halpert and is like, can you just put me in a book with Colossus already? Like that's really my main foil here. This is garbage.
He is my brother. It's real weird that he doesn't mention it. Like, oh shit, my sister's alive, Ilyana? Fuck. You know? He brings in his guys, and they can't even find like, you know, douchebag X-Men villains. These are his Strife Force. The best of the upscale alumni. Upscaling is what he calls when he turns the Daredevil into a weird cyborg man who's still blind. To come and fight, and they have to obey him. Like he controls their cyber organics.
Yes.
And they make them shoot the High Council.
Yep. So a bunch of people are dead. We check in on our baby, they're all running away because the humans the humans are still kind of going crazy because the Ark has been destroyed. And Von Doom shows up to take over the flagship, and we get this scene with Daredevil, who is like, basically looking at Empath, who is going a little crazy, and is like, "Hey, I'm going to touch you." Yep. And it creates this thing where Empath makes Daredevil feel, and it causes him to have a moment where he kills Empath and rips off the visor that he thought was giving him the power to see. But it turns out that he had that power all along. The power was his.
Yep. Mikhail likes to play little pranks.
I love it. I love it, dude. This is my favorite part of the issue.
Feather. Yeah, little Dumbo's feather style pranks. When you roll under Mikhail, it's kind of fun. Like the other horsemen, it's kind of a douchebag thing, but he likes to prank you.
Yeah.
He's the Jim Halpert of the horsemen.
Of course. Like he's getting, imagine him just doing like a series of CIA letters to, what if he recruited Cyclops to the X-Men and Cyclops didn't know it was not the real X-Men?
I'm here for the mission.
What now? Just standing on that fucking rooftop for hours waiting for the helicopter.
Yeah. He's busting into a Kinko's.
Magneto said he was going to be here.
The MLF is here. So Dr. Doom, who was there before, he had actually smashed up the upgrades, upscaled, or whatever. We cut over to the revolution. Mm-hmm. The machines of war coming down, mowing down the humans. They're fighting back, and Ben Grimm saves that baby, titular baby.
The dad gets shot, and then Ben Grimm swoops in off the ladder of a fucking fire escape, I guess, and it's like, oh, grabbed it.
Yep.
Baby physics in
Uncle
this
Benji's
world are bonkers, just absolutely bonkers.
This baby's having a rough time.
Yeah. Turns out we go back over to the Hulk, and it turns out Gwen Stacy was faking it, just like she did with Peter Parker, and she's not really dead.
Psych, Peter.
Psych. Not really dead.
Mikhail's rubbing off on everybody.
This is the Prankiverse now. I love pranks.
Age of Aprankalypse.
Age of Aprankalypse. And she kind of blows Hulk like out of the thing briefly, but we see that the seawall has been launched. The seawall is this basically defensive thing that Apocalypse has built around America, but instead of
it can move out.
Yeah, instead of just being a defensive, he is. And in the X-Men Omega, he does this. Like he activates this to go on the offensive. So all these machines are basically going to destroy everything in their paths. So it's going to be a literal apocalypse.
Yeah, it's real weird. It's like instead of him just launching an attack against the United States, there's a lot of text about how he just extends the defenses against Europe. He extends the defenses of the United States to encompass Europe, which felt like something you would tell as propaganda to me, but it's actually what happens.
Yeah, fucking bizarre.
Yeah, super bizarre. Mikhail's there. He's watching it all happen. Into it with his strife forces. They're all the humans are still trying to fight back. Donald Blake is who is this person who's dying here?
Don't know.
Oh no, that's one of the upgrades. Like he's like, forget all your circuitry. You're a human being. But like he's trying to bring one of the upscaled back to life.
But who is it? It's just
nobody.
A black woman with like hair. Like I don't like, it's weird that they went out of their way to make every single person in this issue a person in the Marvel universe, except for like some like really like momentous characters. You know what I'm saying? Like people that are dying that we're supposed to care about on the panel. It's bizarre to me.
They ran out. Yeah. Dr. Doom shows up and distracts Mikhail, like challenges him. And this is just a distraction for Donald Blake to tackle him from behind.
Yes.
Here. And, he kind of talks about in his dreams, he soars across the world with gods and goddesses and heroes and stuff.
Me too.
Basically saying like, I'm Thor, get it?
Yeah. I have great dreams too. I mean, not really, to be honest with you. I have fucking weird ass dreams lately, but
all I have is nightmares. Yeah. Like all I have is anxiety dreams.
It's just straight up anxiety dreams, dude.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And but this is very much like oh, hey, I'm Thor, even though I don't know what a Thor is, right? Like that's all that this is.
Yeah, like what's a Thor? And he takes out Mikhail through Mikhail's greatest weakness, having a walking stick stabbed through his chest and thrown out a window.
Yeah.
So fuck you, Horseman.
Yeah.
It was
Gravity.
easy as a push.
Just
Gravity.
like in Dark Souls, is the real boss
Yep.
of Apocalypse. If they just tossed Apocalypse down some stairs, it would have avoided so much trouble.
It would have been all done, man. The Horsemen ain't nothing. We cut over to Ben Grimm running away from a battle mech, one hand and a baby.
One hand
like,
in that baby, homie. Like he's like
Yeah.
trying to win the fucking Heisman this season. Look at
Yeah.
this.
He's gonna spike it on accident.
I hope so. It's gonna be great. They're losing. The machines are winning, and Sue says they've got to start the evacuations. And we switch back over to Tony Stark and Gwen Stacy, where it is revealed that Hulk is actually Dr. Banner, and I guess this was a big deal. I don't really.
Yeah, he switches back because the
seawall is coming. Yeah.
The seawall is coming, so he's like, oh no, they're gonna nuke me. As the Hulk, I wouldn't want to be nuked. And then now that he's Dr. Banner, his wounds are healing, and he starts working on the computer. I want our attention to this art.
Okay.
Did you get a load of Dr. Banner's face as he's typing on this computer?
Oh yeah, very very happy with himself. Yeah, just
it's like, and everybody's real happy with him. Everything's all right.
That dude just
forgive
made
him for hulking out.
That dude just made a solid fucking deal on E-Trade, Gary. That's what that face is.
Yep.
I bought for a penny and sold for a nickel.
Hell yeah.
Got some dividends today. It was a good day.
Yeah. So they're seizing control of the battleship. Dr. Doom pops in and is like, hey, the surviving counselors are dead. Mikhail is dead. We have to use this vessel to attack. Like, Apocalypse is nuking us. Let's attack. Tony Stark is saying, no. We have to save everyone. None of us set out to be Avengers.
I hate it. Thank you.
Then, so Dr. Doom is doing his villain turn. When Stacy's like, Doom, I told you not to come back without Donald Blake, and punches him in the face as if it's his fault.
Pow!
Donald Blake suicided.
It straight up just says pow.
Pow. They cut over to the baby. The baby says goo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For like
and again,
for like a moment here when Sue is like, "Hey Ben, what are you doing over there?" Like it really just looks like the baby threw up on his shirt, and like he's just really fucked up about it. Like I didn't want children like this, but no, Ben Grimm's dead.
Yeah,
like he's actually dead.
He got shot somewhere like along the way. Mm-hmm. If it was shown, the art did not really show it.
Yes.
So they just decide to jet out. They're like, okay, we have to get away from the nukes. We got as many people as we can. Let's just go, and wherever we end up, we end up. And then the Macran crystal sucks them back into the normal Marvel universe. The name of the baby is Frankie, in case you were wondering. And this makes Sue cry because her baby in the 616 is named Franklin, is my guess.
Sure. Yeah.
And she knew this somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It's some of the dumbest shit we've done for this.
I just like, season. Do you think anything with a Frank or Frankie or Franklin in it gets her? Like, cause she goes,
you give her a hot dog, she fucking cries.
You give her like $100 bill and she's like, oh fuck,
a Ben Frankie.
You're going to use this to mop up my face.
Oh no, not a Ben Frankie. Yeah, it just fucking dumb. And it had to be because all they were going to do is drive into the Macran crystal and go back to the real world. Very, very obviously pointless, but also on top of that, just extremely dumb. And it's not. I don't know why we read it. we shouldn't have. Boring as hell. I'm pretty sure you told us that we didn't, and I said no. Let's go ahead and read it if it's there. No. That was the other one. This one I was saying I did want to read because I remembered liking it, but I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I don't know, man. I just I can't. The other one, the Chronicles, are the one that you popped in. That I was like, these are bad, and you're like, no, let's read it. So we were each taking a L.
Jesus Christ!
This session. Do
you remember when we was like, we own our own destiny? We host the podcast. We can do whatever we want to. We don't have to. We don't have to watch X-Men Evolution. We're straight to X-Men Universe number 2.
Yeah. At the very least, this is shorter than many seasons of X-Men Evolution.
True.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was dumb. There's some stuff in the back about like some Mikhail's files that we had last time, which talks about like Victor Von Doom's growing up in a royal family and an abandoned whatever. None of this stuff actually fucking matters whatsoever. I don't really care about it.
I don't know who it's for. Like it's for people who like really like the X-Men, but also really love Daredevil, I guess, and are just like, what was Daredevil doing during this? I gotta know, or people who really love Mikhail. like it was weird that there was just one horseman. Because, there's one thing I know about Apocalypse.
4 horsemen.
4 horsemen is that there's 4 of them. And then there's just like Mikhail not appearing in this book was pretty weird. So it made sense for him to have something to do, but this just feels sloppy and kludgy. And I just imagine like Scott Lobdell being like, yeah, I could do it. I can do everything. I write 17 books a month.
Sure.
And then just farting this shit out.
You guys can do the dialogue, right? Okay, cool. We're going.
Yeah.
If you like this podcast, which you should because you're listening to it, the best way to support us is at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. The second best is telling your friends about us and making them listen to the podcast. Third best, hosting listening parties. Get all your friends together and listen to it together. That shit's dope.
Get everybody brings their own stereo and play different episodes. It's like Zyreka from the Flaming Lips and just play them at the same time.
Gary?
The Poison Ball.
May I propose the Podluck?
Ooh.
Everybody brings a podcast. Come on,
man. Yeah, Podluck.
Yeah, Podluck.
Everybody everybody down, sit down, and listen to mine. It's about some men who talk about video games.
Oh, fucking Will brought Night Vale again. God damn it.
Yes.
I just said Will because there's a
podcast for vegetarians.
I was looking at. I wasn't thinking about Will. Who
Hughes.
has a last name?
Hughes, man. Hughes.
I almost said Will Duck is what I was trying to get my brain from going.
Eggs.
Fun
Eggs
times.
is his last name.
Fun times. I was searching. The fuck was I looking for the other day? I was looking up Taskmaster casting. Because me and my wife got into Taskmaster. I was like, what is this? Like, I want to find out who else is on this show in the future to see if we know anybody. And like the most prominent article that came up was an article on the AV Club written by Will, who had recommended me the show on Twitter. And I'm like, okay, I guess he likes it.
Yeah. No, yeah, we'll love that show. And that show's great.
Yeah, it is.
Good thing to love. A place for gentle humor and then problem-solving situations.
Perfect.
Fun. Good night, everybody.
Good night.